thank you everyone for joining us in person, braving the heat wave to be here. And thank you everyone who's joining virtually. So this is our Engaging with Your Community panel with folks from professional boards, nonprofit boards, bar associations, talking about ways that us as attorneys can engage in our communities on various levels. So let's start by going down the panel, introducing ourselves a little bit, talking about your current position and the kind of bar associations or groups that you're connected with. We have Jennifer Crespo from Hispanic Lawyers Association of Illinois, Jerrod Williams from the Cook County Bar Association, Kenya Wright from Black Women Lawyers Association of Greater Chicago, and Adam Zebelian from LAGBAC, Chicago's LGBTQ+ Bar Association. But I know you all are also engaged in other groups too. So Jennifer, let's start with you and go down and just kind of talk through your current bar association, what any kind of relevant positions, but then also what motivates you to serve your community and what you're passionate about.
Thank you, Brent. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Crespo. I am the president-elect of HLAI, which serves the Hispanic Lawyers of Illinois. I have been involved with HLAI since I was in law school. I find a lot of meaning in the organization. It's helped me a lot professionally. It's helped me a lot personally. My day job is Assistant Attorney General for the state of Illinois. I litigate consumer protection cases on behalf of the state, everything from pyramid schemes and fake schools to phantom debt collectors and fake credit repair agencies. I really feel like it's an extension of my community service, and I've made sure to kind of tailor my experiences to serve those goals, and HLAI has been incredibly supportive of that, and I look forward to having all of you join so I can lend you support as well.
Great, Jerrod.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us online. My name is Jerrod Williams. I am a past president of the Cook County Bar Association. The Cook County Bar Association is the oldest association of African-American lawyers and judges in the country. It was founded because African-Americans were denied membership in Chicago Bar Association. So it has a long history. I was honored to serve as its president. Prior to being elected as president, I served on various committees for the Bar Association, as is the traditional model of leadership ascendancy. In addition to I currently, as far as my current Bar Association service, I'm still active with the Cook County Bar Association as a past president. We have a past president's council, but I'm also the co-chairperson of the Joint Minority Bar CLE Conference, which is a CLE conference that brings together 11 what we historically called minority bar associations, but that minority is actually the majority now. Now it's the term just went right out of my head, but there's a new way that we describe affinity bar associations, excuse me. So it's an association of 11 affinity bar associations that comes together every year to put on a 2-day CLE conference so that we all have an equal opportunity to present ourselves in the context of giving CLE presentations that is sometimes more difficult to come by when you're a member of an affinity group, and to represent those issues in CLE presentations. So I'm really proud of the work that the MBCLE, as we call it, does as well. I'm a member of thanks to our chairperson here, I'm a member of the Illinois State Bar Association Steering Committee on Racial Equality as well, which is a group advocating for racial equality in the justice system across a number of issue areas. So that's my bar association activity. I'm also involved in my community. I am on the board of directors of an organization called Austin Coming Together, which is a neighborhood organization in the Austin community on the west side of Chicago. ACT is an organizing organization, so it's a member organization, and its members comprise other community areas, other community groups across a variety of issue areas, childcare, housing, education, public safety, economic development. ACT is sort of an umbrella organizing organization for all those groups operating in the Austin area, which is the largest geographical neighborhood in the city of Chicago. So, you know, there needs to be some cohesion there. It's a large area to cover. So I sit on their board of directors. I'm also a chairperson of their economic development task force. One of the member organizations of ACT is a smaller organization called the South Austin Neighborhood Association. And I am currently its vice president and chairperson of its civic education committee. So I do try to stay very active in the community. I'm motivated. Why I do those things is I'm motivated by, I feel that it's somewhat of a morality issue. I feel that I've been given a lot, and I feel that when you're given a lot, you have an obligation to give some of that back. One of the things that I've been given by this profession is a career that I absolutely love. It's not a career. I tell people without a moment's facetiousness or cynicism that I've not worked a day in my life as a lawyer, because what I do isn't work. What I do is what I love. It's my passion. There's a thing they used to tell high school students, like, if you didn't have to work, what would you do all day? And they say, that should be your job. You know, I don't know if anybody ever heard that, but right. But for me, I've lived it. If I didn't have to work and I had to do something all day, I'd do what I'm doing. And I have, like, I've been on vacation, still continuing to do what I do. Crazy, but you know, but I feel very fortunate as a lawyer. That's the point. The point is, I feel very fortunate as a lawyer. I do feel somewhat obligated to give some of that back. That's number one. Number two is more so for the community, for the legal profession. I'm motivated by the things that I do with the ISBA steering committee and the joint NBCLE, and even with the Cook County Bar Association. Is parity, equality, like not even equality is like a bit of a misnomer, and justice sounds too highfalutin, but basically, you know, parity, attaining some sense of justice. I mean, that's what it should be about, and that requires more than rote application of rules and regulations. That means understanding, you know, the motivation behind them, their effects, their ancillary effects, how decisions are made. I'm very interested in the judiciary and judicial selection, because it's so vitally important, but we can talk about that later. So I am interested in helping to achieve sort of that sense of justice. And then finally, back home, where I grew up in South Austin. I've always seen it as a uncut diamond, a jewel in the rough. And I just want it to be, and I want individuals also to be really all that they can be. And so when I see that, when I see a person or a community or a project or a law that, you know, just needs to be polished up and put in a great setting, and it could be amazing. You know, I want to, you know, make that happen, you know, on all those various different levels. So I do my best to do what I can.
Thanks, Rob. Kenya, can you tell us more?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kenya Jenkins Wright, and I am a past president of the Black Women Lawyers Association of Greater Chicago, Inc. But I am extremely involved in other bar association work. I am, as Jerrod noted, very active in the Illinois State Bar Association. I have been a past chairperson of the Racial and Ethnic Minorities in the Profession Committee in the ISBA, Women in the Law. education in the public, because I'm very interested in making sure the public's informed about what's going on in this country and in this world and in our state. I'm also on the bench and bar committee because as Jerrod noted, I believe there's a great importance in the lawyers and the judges, making sure, you know, that we're together, we're expressing some of our thoughts and opinions. And as Jerrod noted, I am co-chair of the ISBA Steering Committee on Racial Inequality, which was brought out of a resolution that I co-chaired with Dr. Mary Milano after the murder of George Floyd. This was one so we can look at legislation and make sure the ISBA as a state bar association is active in all of those discussions. And we brought in people from various affinity bar associations to join us to make sure we had full realm of perspectives on that issue. I'm also very active in the Chicago Bar Foundation. I am its second vice president right now. And I've been active in the CBA, and I am a past board member of the Cook County Bar Association, the oldest African-American bar association of lawyers and judges. And while I'm active with the CCBA, I did a lot of the programming that involved the community. I was also involved in the Chicago Urban League. I was an Impact Fellow, and that was one way of me looking at how to get involved in the community from a different perspective. If you're not in bar associations, what else can my talent bring to the community? My day job is I am the general counsel of Illinois Guardianship and Advocacy Commission. And there we represent the rights and of those with developmental or physical disabilities.
My name's Adam Zebelian. I am the current vice president of LAGBAC, Chicago's LGBTQ plus bar association. I know Kenya because I've been on many committees with Kenya as part of the Chicago Bar Association. In fact, we serve on one together right now, right?
Yes.
I'm a past board member of the CBA. I just termed off a couple of years ago. I am a committee member of the Women's Bar Association, and I attend a lot of Cook County Bar and HLAI events in support of those organizations as well. I serve on Chicago House board. Chicago House is an HIV/AIDS social service agency that primarily focuses on housing for people that have been impacted by HIV and AIDS and their family members. I serve on Stonewall Sports board. I serve on Aaron's Farm, which is an animal sanctuary. When I'm not lawyering, I'm an animal rights activist. I know many of you think, well, you must be a vegan. Why are you fat? I don't know. Because I'm a junk food vegan. But anyway, so those are the things that I'm involved in. And I currently am an associate at Schiller, DeCanto and Fleck. I'm a divorce lawyer. Our firm's focus is only on family law. And prior to being a divorce lawyer, I was an assistant state's attorney for 7.5 years in various divisions within the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
So you can see we have an all-star panel. I don't know if there's a association that someone on this panel isn't involved in, probably that has to do with the law. But let's start kind of in the beginning for, new lawyers, law students thinking about getting more involved in a bar association or community group. What questions have you all asked yourselves when you're deciding whether to get involved in an agency or group? How much time are you expected to devote to that group? And anything else as for a new attorney that they should be thinking about before getting more politically or socially active? Jennifer, should we start with you again?
Yes, sure, definitely. So questions that I ask myself generally before getting involved with anything. I don't know about the folks here. It sounds like everyone is the same, but when we get involved with something, it sounds like people in this room really get involved and we become invested in it and we take ownership in what we are doing. So I take that to heart, and I recognize that the power of community means it's not just a question of what can I do, it's what can this community do to advance certain objectives. So I'm mindful of that. So when I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to be a part of something, I ask myself, what are the duties and responsibilities of this role, of this position, of this project that I'm agreeing to spend time on? And the next question is, am I qualified to do these things? Am I able to do these things? Am I the right person who can provide these services at this time? And after that, the third, probably most important question is, does this organization's or project's mission inspire enough passion in me that I will be motivated and committed to do this, even when I am worn out, even when I am tired, even when I am exhausted, even when I've been told no 1,001 times. I think it's very important to have in the back of your mind a reason that is almost tangible and concrete for the things that you do. For me, that was the Innocence Project that I worked on. When I was a student at the Medill School of Journalism, I wrote about a man who had been wrongfully convicted of 2 armed robberies and a murder back in 1992 in Gary, Indiana. He's exonerated. Today we talk, and he's free, and it was the efforts of my colleagues, of the lawyers who worked with the group of student journalists at the time to work on something that was very difficult. That took a lot of time, a lot of tears, but going forward, it has continued to guide me. And whenever I think of am I going to do this, I think about Timmy Donald was the person who I wrote about, who is exonerated now. And I try to think, if I don't have this commitment to this issue, to somebody else, and if so, let me find them and let me support them. And that's what community has meant to me. And those are the questions that I ask myself before getting involved.
Great. Jerrod, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I agree. What I would ask myself, and what I would recommend that you ask yourself as you're getting started, is what is it that I want to devote my time to accomplishing? And then again, who are doing those things? One thing that I would add to that is an examination of the difference between professing to doing those things and then actually doing those things. Your time is your most valuable asset as an attorney, and you want to spend it well. So you want to spend it somewhere that actually is or has the potential to be impactful in the area that you're interested in. And when I say has the potential to be, that brings me to the second thing I wanted to add, is that Jennifer mentioned, asking yourself, am I the right person to achieve those goals? I think that if you're coming in at sort of at our level, like board member level type things, that's an appropriate question. But getting started, I think that's almost too big a question. I think the question that you really want to ask yourself is, can I help? And that help comes in various different forms. Let's be honest. You need people taking tickets at the door sometimes. So if that's what you can do, but that's what they need to achieve their goal, to achieve your goal, then do it. So ask yourself, can I have some sort of meaningful impact, or will I just be a number on a roster? The time, again, it varies. Give what you can. Is what I would say. What can I give, and are they willing to take that? Do they want you to commit to a certain number of hours or activities a day, or will they take what I can give them? Because if those two things don't line up, then you just have to move on. I mean, that's just reality. I think those are the things that I look at is what are they doing? Can I help them do it, even if they're not doing it? Because maybe you can be an advocate for change in an organization. I've had that experience where, you know, I saw a lot of potential in the organization, but it really wasn't getting it done. But I saw that I could help in that regard, so I jumped in anyway, as opposed to just walking away. But you have to make, that's the question you have to ask. You have to make that judgment call, which can be difficult, but you know, you can do it, and you can always change your mind and leave as well. Will they take what I can give them, and will what I give them actually have an impact and help? Those are the big questions I would ask.
Great. Kenya, what questions you ask yourself, and then even how do you balance it all?
Yeah, that's the questions that, you know, I ask myself as first is who does this organization or association represent? Because especially as a younger attorney, you may not know where your passion lies, but there's certain base issues that you have. Like, I know, even though it took me a while, that I wanted to be part of the Illinois State Bar Association. So it took me a while to get placed on committees, but through other activities like Cook County Bar Association, my CBA activities and whatnot, I was able to present myself to the Illinois State Bar Association for that reason. But it's not like I just wanted to join just to put it on there. I wanted, because this is a large bar association with 20,000 members that represent the state of Illinois. One of my goals to be involved is having a say in what such a large bar association does. And through many years of working, I believe through having hard work and doing good work, I was able to have the reputation that if I wanted to draft a resolution, if I thought there was a new committee that needed to be made, if I thought there were extra things that we as a state bar association that's supposed to be representing, we have 12.2 million people in the state of Illinois, and we're the attorney association for this state. I really wanted to make sure that I had a part of that and a say in what the State Bar Association did. So you can look at that. Obviously, Black Women Lawyers Association of Greater Chicago, Inc. I'm a Black woman lawyer in Greater Chicago, Inc. So that meant, you know, something to me. And that's one of the reasons why, and their mission and whatnot. And I want more Black women lawyers in Greater Chicago, Inc. So I wanted to get involved with them to strengthen the foundation for Black women lawyers in Chicago and even nationally. Cook County Bar Association, obviously historical, the oldest African-American bar association in the country. You know, now that was pretty easy. One of the past presidents of the CCBA, Carl Turpin, was my coworker. And so on my first day, he told me, on Thursday, we have a CCBA meeting and you have to go to it with me. So I went with him. And as he was already moving up the ranks, I was able to jump in on projects immediately and affect change, even as a very young attorney. So if you have connections in bar associations, maybe, you know, it's like Jerrod pointed out, maybe it's not fun tasks. I wasn't putting together panels like this. I was, you know, working the tape, you know, the passing out tickets, you know, when people bring in their tickets at the front table. I was helping with programming. I was back in the old days before all this technology and stuff, where you needed someone to move the slides. I was that person. So, you know, it's just, if there's an opportunity to get involved, because a lot of bar associations, especially public interest or affinity bar association, need active members. And how do I balance it all? You know, I just figure it out. I don't know, you know, there's no method to my madness. I just figure it out. I've known everyone on this panel for many years. I think Jennifer's the one I met most recently. That was a couple years ago, but it is because it's not only about the bar association you're on, it's also about supporting other bar associations. I go to LAGBAC events all the time. I know Adam comes to CCBA events. Jennifer knows I'm always at an HLAI event, Great Bar Association, CCBA, I already talked about. So it's just getting your name out there, getting active, making connections, because this is good for your career to know Adam, to know Jerrod, to know Jennifer. That's a benefit to me. And I would hope that them knowing me is a benefit for them. So look at it that way as well. It's not just like I give and I don't get it. It's not like that at all. You're building relationships, you're building a reputation, you're helping the community that you live in. And that's why being involved in your community, both legally, the legal community and the community at large, is important.
Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything everyone said here. But, you know, I see a lot of law school programming on networking. There's networking workshops and all this stuff. Join a bar association.
Exactly.
Bar associations throughout the country have seen a decline in membership. I have no idea why, because young lawyers are constantly looking for opportunities. I get cold calls to go to lunch with someone. I don't want to be rude, but I don't really want to go to lunch with someone I don't know and pay for it, okay? Join a bar association. It's set up to network. This is about building relationships. You're young lawyers or law students. Your career is a long one, hopefully, and you need to build relationships, and the best way to do that is through bar associations. You watch us all hug and take pictures together. We've known each other for years because of bar associations. Join one, join two, join three, join all of them, but just get involved, because to be a successful lawyer, you need to build relationships, and that's part of the job. That's part of what you've signed up to do. So giving back to the legal community in general, which there's plenty of opportunities through the bar associations, is part of that. Building relationships within the legal community is part of that. So again, I can't emphasize this enough. It's astonishing to me that more young lawyers don't take advantage of all the opportunities that are provided by bar associations. I have to talk about LAGBAC. LAGBAC has a monthly social at Sidetrack in Boys Town, last Friday of every month during the school year. There's probably 10 to 15 judges at that event. Every time. And you know what they're doing? They're having a glass of wine with you. They're talking about your weekend plans. How often does a young student get an opportunity, or a young lawyer, to network with judges that way? But shockingly, people don't join. People don't come to the event. It's like, what's going on here, guys? So again, I can't emphasize enough, of course, join LAGBAC, but join all the bar associations up here. It really can make your career. I've seen it. It's happened to my career. My career trajectory has been improved tremendously by being involved in bar associations. I have watched people's careers be made because of their involvement in bar associations. I've seen them get jobs they probably shouldn't get because of their affiliation with bar associations and the networks that they've created for themselves. So I can't emphasize it enough to get involved. But not only in bar associations, in general community organizations. I do think as lawyers, we have an obligation to be leaders in our communities. Mm-hmm. And that includes not just being involved in bar associations, but serving on boards. I'm talking to a crowd of potentially all public interest lawyers, right? Well, you give back every day. But at some time you might find yourself in a law firm job where you have no time, but you make a lot of money. Give money. It's time or money, but one of the two you should be giving. And I think it's incumbent upon lawyers at any stage of their career to give back. So
I just want to, if you don't mind, echo everything that Adam said, especially about, you know, the network and the connections that you make. I know, period, point blank, where I'm at right now came from some of the connections that I made to get such a high profile appointment, you know, so I don't know about Adam, but Adam.
Same, I got a job
switched
through,
over
yeah,
to family law. That's not, that doesn't happen every day.
Right. It's through bar associations and
Yeah.
community event.
And so he was able to show his skill set. So someone was able to see his skill set and they said, you know what, this young man would be an excellent asset to our firm.
They were very wrong, but.
But no, he was, stop. And they were correct, because I know you had some high profile cases, because I heard you speak on them. And Adam is also right about joining other bar associations. I am a member of LAGBAC. I'm a member of CCBA, CBA, ISBA, BWLA. I should be a member of HLAI. If not, I gave them enough money just paying the non-member rate for their events.
Honorary.
So, yeah, try to join bar associations, try to make those connections. It's benefits the community, and I'm telling you, it benefits you as well. You personally, makes yourself feel good, have something to do, instead of, I think, what is it, Snapchat or TikTok? I'm watching Snapchat or TikTok all day, and it's also benefits your career.
And can I just add, you've heard, Adam say it's incumbent upon lawyers to give back to their communities, and you've heard all of us say that, and you heard me say if you received a lot, which a career in the law is a very special thing. So I think it probably sounds like we're talking, and we probably are. I know I am talking in terms of a moral obligation, right? Well, in most states, some form of pro bono service, free legal services, is required for you to keep your license. Illinois, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have that yet, but is moving in that direction, because there's been subtle changes in the rules of professional conduct where first you voluntarily reported the number of pro bono hours you do it. Now I think you have to, now I think that reporting is mandatory. And anyway, we're marching towards, even if you have no morals, okay, fine. You're gonna have to do something, time or treasure. And even currently now, when you're reporting pro bono hours, it can say, have you done pro bono work, or have you given money to somebody who does? So at some point, it's always been a moral obligation, but at some point it's going to be an actual obligation for you to give time or treasure to somebody. Okay, so you may as well get started now, or get started early.
That's a good point.
And I do want to echo, yes, definitely show up at events, sign up. For young lawyers, there's usually free memberships to, the larger bar associations. There's discounted member rates. Events will be free for students or young lawyers in their first 3 years or so of practicing. So there's, even when there's barriers like a financial one, usually those have either been removed or they've been eased a lot to encourage your participation.
So I also want to get questions from you all. So this is the last question that I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to turn it to you all to ask either in person or even over Zoom. But I'm actually stealing this question from Gabrielle Rudin, who submitted it she's over Zoom today. But so have any of you ever had a conflict between your personal views or beliefs and either a bar association proposal, a group proposal, a client, what a client was going to do, or there ever be a conflict between your personal viewpoints and what either a potential employer or client wanted to be done, and kind of what did you do in that situation?
Well, I'll if we don't mind. So it depends sort of on the nature of the conflict. For the most part, bar associations are run as small d democratic organizations, which means that there's, whether it be a committee or a board or whatever the case is, that'll vote on a particular action. And have there been instances where the vote didn't go my way, to put it, absolutely. But you have to go in expecting that in a small d democratic organization, that's going to happen. You're going to lose some votes. So I think in that sense, that's just part of being a member of an organization and not being sort of an independent actor. If you don't want anybody to second guess your ideas, then go on your own. Do it yourself, because the bar association, you're going to have to get approval. That's just how it works. I think the actual question though probably goes deeper than that, and two things. One, so there's two sort of different answers. The first answer is you have to be able to live with yourself. So, you know, the question is, are you compromising yourself to the degree where you know, you're going to sort of regret it for the rest of your life, which sounds very melodramatic, but you know, we do have those things in our life that we think back on, like I still have kind of regrets about that. So if it's going to be that, then you have to say, well, is it worth it? And my recommendation would be it's not, because stress does kill. You have enough stress in your life. You don't need to be worried about this corrupt organization that you work for doing things that keep you up at night. It's not worth it. I don't care what you make or what your situation is. But then the more practical side of that question is that, again, you know, we have rules of professional conduct. We have ethical rules that we all have to follow. Those are yours. So my boss made me do it is not going to be an excuse. So you're going to get hit with a rule violation if you violate the rule, no matter why you violated the rule. So that's something you also have to keep in mind, especially as a young attorney. Like, just kind of, you know, the old Schultz, I know nothing defense. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about because you're too young. God, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's not going to work. You know, the rules apply to you individually. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, and I'm also an ARDC hearing officer, and we have been presented with cases in which the defense was, oh, I didn't know, I just did what my boss said. But like Jerrod says, if it's a clear violation, it's a clear violation. Now, maybe that will be taken into consideration. Maybe your boss will get penalized here and you get penalized here. But even if it's a censor, even if it's you know, that's still, if I look up your name, they're going to have Bob Smith censured on June 14th, 2022. So you really got to be ethical, follow the rules, and no amount of money is worth it, and just remove yourself from it.
Yeah, definitely ask questions. If there's something you're confused about or don't understand, pay attention to that. You don't want to sign on to something that might haunt you later on in life. You know, usually ignorance is not going to cut it for a lot of things. So what I always tell people that's incredibly important in order to maintain that judgment is to get enough sleep and take care of your mental health. And those things will help you think clearly, will help you keep your head on straight, because it'll be easy, you know, when you're tired, when you're worn out, to kind of just get swept up into something. And unfortunately, not everybody tells you everything that there is, and they will hope that you'll just accept that what you see is all there is. So use your training as a lawyer to constantly investigate and question, because there's always something so much more. Being part of a bar organization, stepping into leadership roles, you start to see just how connected everything is and just how important your reputation and your name is throughout your career.
Your reputation is the most important thing.
Yes.
That will get quickly destroyed by a censure or an issue at the ARDC. I've had plenty of clients I've despised throughout my career. But if someone hires me to do a good job, I will do a good job for them within the rules of ethics. And as long as I'm not compromising my integrity or my reputation. That's the nature of the business we're in. We're hired to be zealous advocates, not necessarily sit in judgment of our clients.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know, but you always follow the rules, because no client is worth your license if you're anything like me, I'm still paying for it. So I'm paying off, so.
One additional thought on this, that's kind of like the flip side of this, but I remember being a law student and putting on my resume that like I'm involved in the LGBTQ organization in law school, like the Outlaws, I'm sure that each, and also that kind of outs you sometimes to an employer that can be positive in that like it doesn't have to be a conversation. You don't want to work for someone or be part of a group that would not want you to be involved. And so sometimes being affiliated with an organization, maybe it would stop a job prospect, but that's a job prospect you don't want. So that can.
Exactly. I absolutely agree with you on that issue because it may stop you, but you just have to, believe in yourself and believe in your path and whatnot. I've actually had people, it goes even deeper than this, who said, don't put your name Kenya on your resume, put K.A. Wright or K.A. Jenkins Wright. So that way and I refuse to do that. I'm like, you know what? If they don't want me because they clearly see I'm a Black woman, then that's fine. And I have put on there, not that they needed to see that, but just because I'm a past president and did a lot of activities and work, I have put down my bar association activities, including the Black Women Lawyers Association, including the Cook County Bar Association. But you're absolutely correct. You really don't want to be in an environment where we all talk about mental health. We all talk about feeling comfortable where you are. If they don't want me based on my name, then I know it's going to be a rough ride if for some bizarre reason I, get in there. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that point.
Yeah, we have to be committed to change. This is a reminder we need to get involved with one another's bar organizations, especially the affinity ones. Just because it's the HLAI serving the Hispanic Lawyers of Illinois, we have members from the Filipino American Lawyers Association of Illinois, and we find a way to celebrate our similarities and differences. And I mean, this was common. It wasn't too long ago that people did get penalized for being in different organizations, being in different groups, having different political views. I think I was maybe 12, 13 years old when my dad first started to get involved with community work, and a certain party at the time in the Northwest suburbs said, Fred, we're not going to, run you as a candidate. A Puerto Rican is not going to get elected here. And to just kind of be told to stifle a certain part of you, to be ashamed of a certain characteristic that you have, a belief you have, who you are. We need to keep battling against that. So I would strongly recommend, if somebody says you're part of BWLA, I don't know if you're the right person for this job, well then either say you're a liar, you're wrong, I am the right person, I'm going to change this thing. But you know what, if it's not worth it, go somewhere else, prove them wrong some other way. Just don't give up on that. It's extremely important.
And just
go ahead.
And just to note, to just follow up with what Jennifer said, if you see, something that you believe in, don't think that you can't be a member if you're not a member of that group. Like I go to all the Asian American Bar Association events, HLAI events, CCBA, LAGBAC, and because I have WANO, Women in the Law, and WBAI, because I have, and I'm not going to share it with you all because this isn't the Kenya Jenkins Wright story, but I have a very specific view on America and what I view America should look like. And I know that the America that I view cannot be created if everyone's in silos. So I try to do outreach, make connections, so we can work together to bring America to where I know it should be at. And so if you see something happening, if you see, you know, for example, Adam and I were talking about transgender discrimination and the high rate of suicide and violence against transgender people, especially Black and brown. If that's something that you see and you think it's wrong, get involved in organizations that fight that. You may be a man, but you see what's going on politically to women and women's rights. Get involved, give them money, give them your time, give them your intelligence. You see what's happening with Asian hate, and you know that's wrong because you've seen in history how that's been done to different people, and it needs to stop. Get involved in those organizations to help stop it. So that's another thing that I just want to note. It's not, nothing will be able to happen in silos. We all need to join forces, join together, including in the public interest community, to make this country move forward the way we may envision it to. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to piggyback on a lot of the things that Jennifer and Kenya just said. In terms of fighting these battles, you know, there's lots of fronts. It's a battlefield that has lots of fronts. And so, you know, there's could be advocacy, you know, to just, you know, speak out about discrimination or racism in the legal community or in the community at large. You can do that. But one of the things that we've tried to achieve with the MBCLE is to use those CLEs as an opportunity to explore the places where sort of the issues between those different groups intersect. And putting on presentations that both demonstrate and address the intersectionality of a lot of the issues that we commonly share, so you can address them that way. And, you know, that ties back into what I said before. That's not something that they were doing before, but, you know, by taking a leadership role, I thought I could have an impact to help move it in that direction. And we've had a modicum of success. And, you know, this goes to the other question of when they do something you don't agree with. You know, sometimes these successes are very incremental. So you have to take those victories where you can find them. And in terms of not being siloed, that's extremely important too, because again, there's lots of fronts on which you can act. I'll just give you an example of from my life. I'm a cis male, which means I have a gender female wife. I'm a gender male. I started the LGBTQ section of the Cook County Bar Association. Yeah. Which, you know, no African-American bar association that I'm aware of has an entire, you know, you'll learn that in bar associations, you have different sections that address different areas. And like being a separate section is kind of a big deal, let's just be honest. And I started that section because of these issues, because of the issues that I saw. So, you know, you can operate in a lot of different ways. You can operate through this more raise a fist type of way. You can operate sort of this, hey, is judicial selection the same level of racism for Asians as it is for African Americans? Let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation and just kind of plant those seeds out there. You can do it that way. You can do it through CLEs. You can do it through operating within one bar association. I was in the Cook County Bar Association. This has just happened within the Cook County Bar Association. Or you can do it across bar associations through organizations like the ISBA that has steering committees with representatives from across the spectrum. So lots of different, you know, that term not being in silos, that applies in so many different ways.
So any questions that you all have to ask or resume?
One of my professors gave the advice that in your legal career, you're gonna have a job, a better job, and a career. And I was wondering if that's something that's held true for you and how your community engagement has helped you along that journey.
My observational experience is that's advice that applies to you much more than it applies to us. I think we all came out, or at least I know I did. I graduated in 2002. Kenya was right behind me. We went to the same school. You know, that was still we have to accept America's changed, right? But that, for us, that was still at the time where you got a job, if it was a firm, you kind of stayed at that firm, you rose to partner, you rose to equity partner, then you retired from that firm. Like we grew up in that mode of employment. That does not hold true for you guys at all. And I get that. It's just difficult for me to answer that question, other than to say he's probably right. See, look at that. That was very. She's probably right, but.
But I just will add, actually, even though I am, one of my Generation X, I believe, or a Xennial, whatnot, I actually followed that pattern because my first job was out of law school at a firm through connections that I had at the school who were working at the firm recommended me. And I started there, worked there a couple of years, and then I transitioned to, so I was at that firm maybe 3 years. I transitioned to another firm, a smaller firm, Green and Letts, a minority-owned firm in Chicago. And I was there for 9 years, which is probably unheard of. It's like, I plan on retiring after 9 years. That's what a lot of people say. But then through my bar association connections and whatnot, I have my current job where I have been at about 6.5 years. And, do I have additional wishes, hopes, dreams? Sure, there's obviously lots of things out there, but I do think that it follows that you have to grow in your career and your reputation and the connections you make in order to keep on moving up to that next level.
Can I just go back real quick? I'm sitting here sort of digesting what your professor said, and what I'm taking from my experience from what she means is that the law cannot, in the long term, the law cannot be a job because it's not a job. Jobs end at 5 o'clock. Jobs start at 9 o'clock and end at 5 o'clock. That's not the law. The law is 24/7. We never close. I never stop thinking about you. One of our professors used to use an expression that said, the law is a jealous mistress. So it's always there. So what I'm taking from that comment, a job, a better job, and a career, is that you may need to find that thing that you can make a part of your life, and that may take those steps, but ultimately you want to get to the point, and you don't necessarily have to love it. I know I'm, maybe unique, but you have to at least accept that it's going to take. Saying it takes a significant amount of your time is like the understatement of understatements. And work-life balance is a thing, and now firms don't even talk about work-life balance. They talk about maintenance or management or something like that. I don't know. The point is, whatever it is you do as a professional, as a lawyer, will be it'll be a part of your life. So it has to be something that you can incorporate, not just as an outside thing that you sort of pick up every once in a while and put down, but you have to be able to incorporate it into who you are all the time. And that may take a job, a better job, until you find it.
Yeah, I think it's acceptable to kind of expect that, especially your first couple years out of law school, you're going to experience what might feel like a job and might feel like work. It's going to be a lot of hours. There's a lot of, firms and associate, ships out there that, will use and abuse you. And I think that's unfortunately the experience of a lot of young attorneys. I think what's important in those situations is to remember that things will change if you want them to. You will learn the law more. You will become more comfortable being an advocate, being an attorney, a licensed attorney, and you will begin to understand your own self-worth and what it is that you can offer. And a career will be ready for you when you are ready for it as well.
So with our 5 minutes left, let's go down, starting with Adam. And share any like one tip that you wish you knew when you were a law student to get more involved in your community, or even just generally as a law student. And then any events that you're connected with your bar association or group that you want to promote that folks should join either this summer or just generally.
The tip I have is when your boss asks you to go to lunch, go to lunch. When your boss asks you to go to dinner, go to dinner. When your boss is having an event at the firm, go to the event. I don't know if it's a generational thing, maybe it's something that I'm just observing because I'm getting older, but it's important to invest in, if you're at a law firm or if you're at a government agency, to invest back into your workplace too. And it will help you. You'll learn at those events. You'll learn more about your boss's trajectory through the organization. You'll learn from other people that are at those events. And it's good for you to do those sorts of things. And I think a lot of times, you know, I'll see it at our firm, a senior partner is having an event and none of the young associates go, well, what? I mean, why? You should be looking to gain a mentor out of this senior partner and how you do that is by going to their things. So that's one tip. LAGBAC is having its Pride judicial reception coming up on June 26th during the parade from 11 to 1 at Rinaldi's. Everyone's welcome to join.
Oh, can you write that down?
And Kenya will definitely be there with me.
One tip would be just to remember, no matter how big or small the task, to always do good work. If you're collecting, you know, the tickets, make sure you're professional and whatnot. If you're speaking, make sure you're professional, whatnot. If you're president, you know, make sure you're doing a good job. That's the thing. And take advantage of being in law school and your law school associations to get that practice and that balance and that understanding of how associations work. I was a member of BALSA, I was a member of LAWSA, I was a member of ALSA. So you can see my school bar association started from the beginning, and took leadership roles in that. I was president of Black Law Students Association, treasurer of Latinx Law Student Association. So just try to make sure you're taking your experiences now and staying active. The events that's coming up, well, today, if you look it up at 5 o'clock, there's a Road to the Robe session that is on via Zoom that the Cook County Bar Association's doing. And also the Cook County Bar Association is having their installation of the president. Her name's Natasha Jenkins. She's a wonderful attorney and a brilliant lady. And that is on June 24th.
Okay, quickly, earlier you heard me say that one of the questions you ask yourself about getting involved is can I have an impact? Can I help move the needle? That's the question I was asked. Here's the tip. The answer is yes. It's always yes. There's always something you can do, and make sure you do it well. As far as events coming up and in terms of using your student status, you can probably join most of our bar associations for free or for a very nominal amount as a student. Then you can join us for free at the 2-day MBCLE conference, which is coming up September 15th and 16th here at the ISBA, 20 South Clark Street. Even if the ISBA is, even if the CLE is something that you may not get or you don't understand, again, being in those rooms with those people and just striking up conversations and just hearing data that your brain might access later is always beneficial. September 15th and 16th, but first you have to join one of our bar associations to get that conference for free.
All four.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jennifer, close us out.
Tips that I wish I knew earlier on. Get enough sleep, take care of your mental health, don't take yourself too seriously, are things to, you know, always remember. Yes, we are called to practice law because we each here are feeling called to do something. This is something that not everybody has. It's a characteristic that not everybody has that we have. It's special, it's unique, and we need to take care of ourselves so we can take care of that. In terms of an event, July 28th, HLAI is having its annual golf outing. We have judges come there, we have elected officials come there. Listen, I don't play golf. You all can come volunteer, so that you can, you know, be there for free. You can just ride July 28th at Harborside. You can just ride around in the golf carts with me and I'll introduce you to people. I think it's gonna be a great event. And then our next big event after that is going to be our gala on October 14th. And HLAI loves to have live music, so we're hoping to have a trio perform and make it pretty interactive. And once again, if you volunteer to collect tickets and stuff like that, as we've all talked about, to greet people at the door, which is actually an excellent volunteer opportunity. You have your name tag, you're greeting these high profile people coming in through the door, making those connections. It's great. Yeah, be a ticket collector. That's something else I wish I knew earlier on. So get enough sleep, collect tickets, come to these bar events and stay involved. And I'm really proud that you're all here, and it's really an honor to be on a panel with all of these folks. It's the eve of my 35th birthday, so I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm still learning, and being in rooms like this is what helps us all grow and develop the right way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Jennifer, Jerrod, Kenya, Adam. Thank you for being on our panel.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.